Hi guys, hello, Mary, meet everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene, and of course, today is that day of the week we call reality. What do I mean by reality? Well, very simple. As some of you who may or may not know, we have the hearing for the Judge Kavanaugh, and some questions about what's going on with him. Today's the official hearing. The vote is going to start at 1:30 Eastern time. So obviously it's in the process now of starting. And earlier today, the Democrats, I had discussed, stormed out of the earlier meeting, and I have to be honest, guys. I think the Democrats are making a big mistake. I think they're sabotaging their so-called blue wave big time because of the behaviors. Think about it. Everything that they've done, all the false allegations, all the phony baloney, everything has been absolutely positively a train wreck for the so-called desire to create a blue wave. They sabotaged themselves. It's not going to happen. I mean, let's be honest. I think the Senate ethics committee needs to get involved in their actions, especially against Chuck Schumer, Dianne Feinstein, and several other key Democratic people who have been pushing this allegations. Also, I think that Attorney Avenatti should be disbarred because of his improper use of the legal due process, and I think that's an embarrassment to everybody. Judge Kavanaugh, if he's lucky, if he does survive this, that he's not going to have PTSD from all of this dirty laundry and false allegations. It's just sick. It's sick. It's sad. It's disgusting, honestly. But that's one of the reasons I'm going to be taking a holiday. So please let me let you know again the schedule. I will be here tomorrow for the 2 o'clock show. And then me and Lumi are going to take a few days from my channel. I'm going to do a few videos on her channel to help out with her presentations to get her viewers up a little bit. But I will be occasionally, I will still do the morning vlogs, and no big deal. They'll only like 5 minutes, and so they'll be quick and easy to do. But the actual live streams, I will not be here for Sunday or Monday. R11H30 said he can do Sunday night. I don't know if it's going to be at 7 or maybe at a later time. You'll have to ask him. But seriously, I do need a break. Because there's been a lot of finger pointing on my channel too. So I have a little bit of empathy for Brett Kavanaugh because of some of the finger pointing that has occurred on this channel. But let me start by saying this right now to anybody, is I will defend your right to speak up. I will respect your right to speak up. Doesn't mean I'm always going to like what you have to say. But if you start really, really acting like a flaming asswipe, you are going to be treated like a flaming asswipe. Okay? And I respect your speech. As long as you respect my speech, I don't have no problems about that. Alright, so let's get the show on the road. Let's get these phone numbers up and get these chats on the screen. You know, this is not the fastest thing in the world, but we try, right? Right now we're using the T-Mobile because the Frontier is running a little bit laggy today. They're doing a lot of road work, and I wonder if they accidentally knocked into the fiber optic cables going to the central office. I don't know. But we are now online, and we see we have 3 watchers. We turn the phone on, and yep, phone's on. And I met somebody on Facebook Messenger, a pretty nice gentleman, and I would love to have had him on the show. And I gotta be honest, I don't know how to interface the phone practically with all this gear, and I noticed that the system seems to be developing. Oh, this is why. I don't know. We're not getting consistency sound out of both channels in the computer for some reason. But right now, at least I know my sound's going out both channels. That's a key piece. So, now I went to the doctor's yesterday. I'm doing pretty good. I'm proud to say I lost an inch of height. Yay! I'm only 5'8" now. You sure hasn't done anything. No. But you know what? One of the things that my doctor said is, I'm starting to really seriously wonder, because it's close to the time now, you can get osteoporosis. Given the fact that one of your teeth shattered in your mouth, he says, I wonder if you may indeed be suffering from osteoporosis. So I got a bone density test coming up around the 24th of the month of October, but I'm going to need a ride. Because, unfortunately, I did check the bus schedule. The time the appointment was made means I can get to the doctor's office, but I won't be able to get home. That's not going to work. I have to reschedule it so it's a little earlier so I can get a ride to and from the doctor's appointment. And you forgot to turn on the Discord sound. I'll do that right now, though. You're right, I forgot to turn on that. So Discord is starting up right now. Okay, so Discord is on. Hopefully today we'll have some Discord. I got sound on both ears this time. Yeah, I did too. So anyway, the point is that I am very happy to say, if anybody wants to ask anything or say anything, is that I'm indeed here and I will listen to what you got to say. I know that the Fridays at 2 o'clock seem to do better. And, of course, depending on how many people come to the show, if there's, really nothing going on until 3 o'clock, or if 3 o'clock the show is, dead as a doornail, then we'll just end at 3. If the show is lively, longer, and there's more people here asking questions and having a good time, maybe I'll run until 4 o'clock. It's right now, currently in the United States, it is 2:06 p.m. And in the UK, Ireland, it is currently 12:06 midnight their time. So it means, 7:06 p.m. British and Irish time. So it's good for them, so that those people, after they eat dinner with their families, can sit down and watch the show. And Discord is on, so you can join through Discord as well. Let me go ahead and get you the link for the Discord. Yes, indeedly. So I'm going to go ahead and modify this link, because I want to make sure this never expires. You would think this thing would actually keep this format. Okay, I'm going to copy that link. Okay. And yes, sometimes, guys, I have a good day. Some days I have bad days. Right now, I'm having to join our Discord server and chat on Snow Queen Radio and Snow Queen Radio chat text. Okay, so I just sent a message out to you guys so you can join in. And I see, after I posted my comments about the situation with earlier this morning, about the way I saw what happened with the Democrats' behavior, that a little bit of churn happened, and which is sad, because it really. I saw what happened with the Democrats' behavior, and that's just not really acceptable what they did. So, I just think it could be done better. Let me take a quick look here and see if there's any kind of vote yet at Fox News. I know that. Oh, that's InfoWars. Well, let's see. Is InfoWars saying anything about that? InfoWars is a little behind. In the news briefs. Let me just go to the Fox News first. And let's see what this Fox News says. Senate Judicial Committee advances cabinet nomination in a party line vote. Kavanaugh vote line block. Senate Judicial Committee weighs in on recommending nominee. Yay! Trust me, with the battle scars he got, he should be recommended. He should be given a Purple Heart. Poor guy. He was treated like crap. He was absolutely treated like crap. I'll just read the first part of this here. It says here, the Senate Judicial Committee endorsed Judge Brett Kavanaugh in a party line vote Friday afternoon, sending a Supreme Court nomination to the full Senate a day after an emotional hearing where a California professor leveled sexual assault allegations that he adamantly denied. The committee voted 11-10 to recommend Kavanaugh, with previously undecided Republican Senator Jeff Flake, the Republican Arizona, boosting the nominee with his late-breaking support. However, the support came with a last-minute caveat. After meeting with Democrats behind closed doors ahead of the vote, Flake emerged to call for a delay in the full floor vote to allow for the FBI investigation, quote, limited in time and scope. He backed Kavanaugh in the committee vote, but said he only be comfortable moving to the floor if the FBI investigates further. Look, I'm going to tell you something. Don't you think it would be best to let him? He showed his honor, he showed his morals, he showed his scruples. Let the Senate vote completely. If you want to go ahead and after he's in, have his FBI investigate, that's fine. But you know what, guys? This is too late to push this kind of baloney. This should have been done way in advance. We know the FBI did research the man ahead of time. So, Be at Peace says, message retracted. Yeah, hello, message retracted, Be at Peace. I have to say that I think it would be nice if, they just let's let him be in there. He's already demonstrated under fire. If he doesn't get post-traumatic stress disorder after this, he's made a sterner stuff than me. Just watching has given me PTSD. Trust me, you have no idea how much it makes me feel to see somebody being picked on like that. Because I've seen it happen on my own channel to the point where I would basically felt like I felt terrible. I felt bad. I felt the bullies in the past and were really rough on me too. So I can understand exactly what Brett Kavanaugh feels very much. Of course, the difference is there's a lot less on the line for me than there is for him. However, I would say is what he demonstrated is he is sincere and he really knows what he believes in, and he believes it strongly in his heart and his soul. His soul is solid, okay? And you really need a solid man. However, I think we know that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is going to be retiring soon. How about this as a compromise for the Democrats? Couldn't we vote for a moderate, say for the next judge? She's going to be retiring soon. We know that. Or she's going to die. One or the other. We don't know which one. I don't know which one she'd rather do. If she chooses to stay until she passes on, well, that's when God is going to say, okay, your time's up. Time to vacate your position for a new person. And I think Donald Trump, he could make a deal and say to the Democrats and say, look, let's go for a moderate for you guys. Let's go halfway here. After all, Justice Kennedy, which Brett Kavanaugh is replacing, was a swing vote. There's no reason why we can't have a new swing voter to make the Democrats happy. Anyway, I don't care too much about politics. Yeah, I understand Be at Peace, but unfortunately, as we found out on the Wednesday show, not too many people are really heavily into religious and theology teachings right now either. So, I think we need to try to temper both with a little bit of, a respect for everybody here because not everybody is going to go into um, heavily into one or the other. Oh, yes, here's a funny news story for you. A former. Can you possibly read my comments? I usually do. They run up on the screen on the copy. If you're watching this on your phone, let me explain why I mirror the chat comments. And it's because on my iPhone, there is no way to watch the live chats otherwise. So this way, we can see them on your screen. Granted, you have to have eyes like a hawk because the vision's, writing's a little small. But he says, well, I'm only watching right now, so that was the point of telling you right now. Well, I don't think you're the only one. He could be. He could be. So, we're going to see what happens with the Brett Kavanaugh thing. And, right now we got 3 watchers. Obviously, I'm one of them. Actually, you're 2 of them because we're watching it on the iPhone and on the Android phone and on the computer screen. Yes. Okay, so the reason we do that is to make sure everything is running. Yeah, I know. Alright, I wrote a few, but the last one's related to your political topic. Okay, let's go back and look at this again. Can you possibly read all my comments? Oh, you retracted one, so I don't know if I have them all here, but let's see what I can find, okay? Hello, good afternoon. Message retracted. I am not sure what happens. I do know what... I'm not sure what happened, but I do know this. Thou shalt not bear false witness. One of the 10 commandments of God. Correct. And that's, again, where the Senate Judicial Committee or Ethics Committee needs to seriously wake up and tell these people that it's disgusting what they did. These universal laws are beyond countries and worlds. Yes. Speaking of Father Yahweh and Mother Asna, many people also don't know that Satan has a wife. Her name, or female counterpart, her name is Jezebel or Lilith. You spelled Lilith wrong. Actually, Lilith is kind of an interesting position. Because technically, the real Lilith, in some circles, is actually considered kind of a swing situation. She is earthly presence, but she's not quite evil. Jezebel, I've heard of Jezebel. Anyway, I don't care much about politics. Read all my comments. I do work quite hard for them. Well, I'm the only one watching right now, so that's the point I'm telling you right now. Well, I'm sure more people are going to join. Yeah, I just did. Yeah. Let's see what Maurice Haven says. With all eyes on Kavanaugh, Google seizes opportunity to kill America. Luckily, Ted Cruz stops them. Ooh, kinky. We're gonna, yeah, Lisa, I will watch your video in a little bit. I'm not gonna watch right now because this poor computer can't watch your video and chew gum at the same time. The thing that makes many people do not understand is that everything is related. Politics is related to spirituality. Yeah, it's spiritual. It's the actions of spiritual. It's the political scene is where spirituality is put into practice, and that's where we can see the good from the bad in work. By the way, you can kiss the blue wave goodbye. It ain't gonna happen. Democrats, you basically screwed yourself up. Wow. Yeah, you couldn't help it, could you? You really so badly wanted to talk about how you're going to have this blue wave and how you're going to go ahead and take over Congress and the House of Representatives, and then you do this stupid BS, and you wonder why America, and especially Chuck Schumer, you're going to lose your seat for sure. Dianne Feinstein, you're out of there. And Nancy Pelosi, I don't know what are we going to do. Well, yeah, because it's not scripted. Somewhat. What do you mean? Well, some of the Democrats keep talking about having a script that they keep using. Yeah, but the truth is, Asmer, Democrats are gonna win. Democrats are gonna lose. 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 Democrats lose. Democrats lose. Democrats lose. Fuck. 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 Democrat. 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 We got the good guys. We got the bad guys. Hillary Lucifer. Oh, yeah, George Soros. I have heard that he could be in. His assets could be seized. Yep. Vote red or you're dead. That's what Natasha 7080 says. Vote red or you're dead. You know what? She's right. Anybody, after what we have seen with the Democrats, anyone, if you really think the Democrats are doing a good job, either you're out of touch or you don't have any morals of your own. This is clearly a battle of good versus evil. Okay? In actual practice. Okay? Every single person in this country, we must stand for what is right and just and kind. I respect your rights in the sense to say what you're going to say. I just ask you respect my rights from what I feel. If you start getting physically violent and throwing people around and bearing false witness and backstabbing, that's where I draw the line. If it's based on truth and honesty and integrity and kindness, I will listen to what you got to say. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree, but I'll listen to it. BB says all our people should be wary of Trump administration's support of Netanyahu and his hate of Iran. The mainstream media won't say this, but the real nuke threat is not Iran, but Israel. Yeah, they have weapons too. What about China? You know, the United States and China still haven't quite worked it out yet. No, they haven't. Let's see. Israel has done so much damage to the Middle East, and they have so many hidden nukes they hide. They're not hidden. We know about them. I know you were talking more regional, but political, globally is important too. Global issues are important. Of course, they're important because they affect everything. It's called macroeconomics. Everything has to do with money. Just like the professor said in the movie Accepted. Pimps and whores, pimps and whores. It's all pimps and whores. Buyers, sellers, pimps and whores, pimps and whores. It's absolutely. And let's be honest, China is the greatest junkie of all. That's good. Absolutely. Hey, I got this nice low price material here. Freshly made by slave labor. Are you interested? The best garbage we can make. Oh, jeez. Absolutely. Yep, indeed. Yes, I did. I mailed him the intro. I also mailed him the test pattern I used. The only thing is, it doesn't say NASQ in it. It's a standard Phillips test pattern. He will just have to go ahead and put the title where I put it, and then put the time and date where I put it, if he's going to use a test pattern. If he wants to use his originally was intended as a test pattern, that's no problem. It's up to him. And I did send him the intro. Yep. I know the city's uploaded. One of the reasons is they don't care. The government doesn't care. Because, as I said, they're just like meth labs. All they want to do is make cheap crap. And that's what they're doing. They're making cheap crap because everybody will buy it. Because everybody's trying to save a buck. Everybody, me included. These headphones were made in Japan. But they were made in the 1970s. Okay, my mixer's Chinese made. My computer is Chinese made. My keyboard is Chinese made. This microphone is Chinese made. My camera on the wall, that's American made. That's a Panasonic. My mouse is Chinese made. Actually, this is Taiwan. It's the Republic of China. Oh, okay. They sometimes do around here too. But it's the streets in China are terrible. If you ever watched Separenza or another Chinese show I watch, they show just how bad China is as far as infrastructure. It's embarrassing. Yes, I know. Oh, and that's the reasons why I think it's disgusting. Donald Trump wants to change that. That's why he wants Apple to bring production back to the United States. But Apple is constantly hemming and hawing and saying that they don't want to because they don't think it's going to make sense. It would be cheaper in the long run because the truth is when you have to ship everything by container ships from China to the United States, and then everything has to be inspected by customs enforcement to make sure that nothing illegal or unacceptable comes to our borders. I never heard of Roots, but well, the shirt I'm wearing is made by a company called Faded Glory. The outer shirt is made by Dress Barn. A lot of companies did. And now, because we're so dependent on them, remember the old saying from accepted pimps and whores? They become the pimps, and we become the buyers. They're the junkies. They're the ones who sell the stuff that we buy. And we have basically said to ourselves, it can't compete against them, even though they're flooding the market with cheap crap. When they flood the market with cheap crap, and I mean, it's not all crap. When I say crap, let's explain this here. China does make some good things for export, but some of the stuff that is made is so substandard in quality that it just barely works. This microphone, when I got this microphone out of the box, this microphone was a piece of crap. It was basically a kiddie microphone. That's right. A little toy microphone. I'm going to plug this in and show it to you. This is plastic. It's just a shell. That's all that's left of it is the shell and the connector. The rest of this microphone here is completely been rewired from the beginning, and it's completely new. All new material. Well, no, not all new, but the case is plastic. It's cracking. The most expensive part of this microphone was an aftermarket replacement for the cartridge assembly right here. Okay? That replaces the original plastic cartridge that was a piece of garbage. It didn't work right. No shielding, no hum rejection, no nothing. This microphone stand is Chinese made. Let's see, make sure I get this in the holes right. Oh yeah. And that's another thing too. This microphone is, cheap. And China closing down. Well, my homeland has some of the same issues that over 900 schools have closed down there in the past 500 years. 900 schools in 500 years. And the Chitalistas are closing down. Chitalistas in Sunday school traditional dance more like social clubs. Speaking of Bulgaria, I saw something in the news somewhere about Bulgaria. It was really interesting. I forgot what the article was. I go through so many news articles that I think it was something about marijuana legalization and yeah. Well, look what's happening in the United States with our we're starting to see morality is starting to make a return. Common sense is starting to come back. People are starting to realize that what has happened to this country for all these decades has been absolutely positively unacceptably disgusting. And so people are starting to ask tough questions like, why are we doing this to our country? Why are we acting like this? Why are we allowing this to happen? And people are starting to say, no more. And that's one of the reasons why you're starting to see morality slowly make a comeback. But the sad truth is that people who finance the non-governmental organizations, the NGOs, include George Soros. George Soros is in a heap of trouble right now because we have found out just how corrupt and how polluted he is. And we are starting, as the United States, is starting to seriously question his ethics. Do you think American Congress is bad? I don't know a lot about politics, but in my homeland, there's issue. People in Parliament are skipping work. They do here too. They don't always vote on the bills, the major things like Kavanaugh. Several Democrats actually walked out of that hearing committee because they didn't want to vote for it to go to the main Senate for its confirmation. This is why I'm saying that we as a country, and we are becoming examples to other countries, including Bulgaria and Italy and other countries that are in Hungary. They're starting to say, you know what, this is not acceptable behavior that has occurred. We can't allow people like George Soros and even Angela Merkel and all these other leaders that try to push open borders. We can't allow it to continue. Yeah, well, the United States doesn't do that. Not unless the speakers of the House or Senate say holiday. And they haven't done that recently, but yeah, they can do that. I mean, Mitch McConnell could say, I'm sorry, guys, Senate closed. Just as Boehner can say the same thing with the House of Representatives. The House of Democrats closed. Or even, Chuck Schumer could say, with Republicans in the Senate, say, don't show up for work today. Screw them. They are proposing on instead of meeting every day to spend some days of the work in their electoral basis collection questions. Well, that doesn't sound so bad. I mean, they are proposing a law instead of meeting every day to spend some days of the week in their electoral basis collecting questions. Well, they have to do that sometimes anyway. And talking to people, that's a good thing. Komelia Nemova is touring Bulgaria until Christmas. She has not been seen in Congress for a while. She has promised to tour even the tiniest villages. Oh, reminds me, I had a fan on my channel from not Bulgaria, but he was I think from Czechoslovakia, I think, named John Cross. And he has a group of people that watch my channel over there. I don't know if John Cross is still watching the show or not, but he was in contact with me about 2014, 2015, and he said that my show is very important over there in their little tiny village. I don't know if they still watch my show, but I'll be interested if they are. Because he said to me at the time is, we find your content really, really interesting and we like it. I also have a man on Facebook who started following my content. His last name is Razier, and from, let's see, what area is he from? He's not too far away from here, in Massachusetts. And he was really kind of interested in what I do as well. And so I got fans on Facebook. Let me just go. I'm gonna go to this messenger to make sure I get his location right, so I don't give the wrong person. Let's see. His name is John Brazier, and he's located in. Let's see. Make sure I get this location right. Let's see. We were talking about where he was in the area. Let's see if I can find him. I'm going to finish. Okay, talk about old videos. And, let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I don't believe you did that. Well, no, it's okay. It's just our channel. Alright, so let's see. Where is he said he was from? He said he was from. Sometimes he talks about my hair a lot. Let's see. Good judge, call me, talk to me, blah, 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 blah. And he said, Sheffield, Massachusetts. Sheffield, Massachusetts. Chameleon Nova, okay, read that. So it was really kind of interesting to see that we have a gentleman from Sheffield, Massachusetts who is watching the stream. And, so I have, some fans all over the world. As far as John Cross goes in the community that he was part of, I really wish John Cross would contact me again. It's been so long since I've talked to him. He spoke pretty good English, so I really, it was really nice to hear from him. And as I said, I have fans, and they are all over the world. And so they, people have kind of forgotten that my channel is a very rich channel. I know, I can hear me. I don't need to hear me again. Okay. So yeah, one of the things that we're talking about real quickly about leaders of Congress and Senate and Parliament, whatever, is you really do need to, seriously, do got to get out, talk to the people. You do got to listen to what your constituents are trying to tell you. And with the midterms coming up, I think the United States is the people, especially, are going to be very firmly making a statement against what the Democrats have done. Well, a lot of hospitals in the United States are shutting down too. Because the reason is that thanks to modern healthcare, there's less people in the hospitals now in the United States. Our local hospital closed a couple of years ago, about 1988, and then it was purchased by the Charlotte Hungerford Hospital, and then now the Charlotte Hungerford Hospital was purchased by Hartford Hospital, and all the medical institutions are consolidating to these big organizations. Most of the gangs in our country actually have made their way into the police force and the government since the fall of the 1990s. Yeah, I got a feeling we have a couple of people that maybe were part of organized gangs that joined, the police departments. One thing is a invaluable resource because they know how it works in the gangs. They know how to defuse and defeat the gangs. Okay, and that's those who choose to do good. Those that choose not to do good, well, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to make trouble. So I think we're going to see more and more people making positive changes. But we have to stand for what's right. And like I said, the red wave is going to seriously, after I've talked to a few Democrats about this, and they said to me is that they're disgusted about what has happened. And in fact, they've expressed complete sorrow. They've said we are so much against Kavanaugh, but what Schumer had done is not acceptable. And that they should have, he should have at least brought these allegations up in advance and let Brett Kavanaugh have his time to, have a proper hearing instead of rushing through these policies. This is really hurtful to the American people and to the American system. I'm looking forward to the day, as we know, we've talked about this about the coming again of Christ. I'm just going to keep this short because I know that a lot of my people on my channel are not into the faith systems as much, but the day is going to come when Yahweh and his son Yeshua, that's his real name, not Jesus, it's actually Yeshua, are going to clean house. And Mother Asna is going to be the one who's going to be helping them to sweep the floors and vacuum out the filth. And they're going to make some serious changes in a positive way. And all of us who are of the selected group, 144,000 according to the Jehovah's Witnesses, will be part of the council of our Congress, if you will. And we're going to be helping to keep this earth running properly. Now, I don't quite see it quite with a number of 144,000, but I see that there's going to be a serious shakeup. And people like George Soros and his son is going to seriously be outed and hung out to dry. It's obvious. Bulgaria actually used to be one of the most advanced countries and people in a third military power, but not so much nowadays, though. Not actually now where they were once, but they're way behind. Yeah, well, don't forget, militaries cost money. I am reading the comments as fast as I can. I'm also got to keep an eye out for new comments to come on here. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen with the United States in the future? The United States, Loom? Yeah. I think the United States is going to be changing eventually once we start airing out the laundry, once we start dealing with the baloney and the cesspit of garbage that has occurred in this country. I think we're going to see more people kind of go, enough's enough. I think we're going to see some changes. Also, the countryside there isn't becoming abandoned very quickly, as most Bulgarians live in the big cities, move abroad for more cash and more sellouts. Yeah, but you know what? Maybe Bulgaria could do something about that. Perhaps this is what they can do. One, if they really seriously want to get people into the countryside, they should probably work in a way to market themselves better. And in a sense, like for example, let's say the Bulgarian parliament said to those who seriously want to better Bulgaria, hey, look, here's the deal. You come into Bulgaria, we'll make it easy for you to get your work visa and apply for citizenship, regardless of what country you're from. If you agree to live by the laws and customs of our country to the best of your ability. In exchange, making it easier for you to come in here and become a Bulgarian citizen, we will also make it easier by giving you access to land and or abandoned property out in the countryside, because we're going to need farmers. We're going to need people to help work the land to feed our people as we enter the grand solar minimum. Once they do that, if they did that, you can bet a lot of people would be willing to consider Bulgaria as an option. I think it would work. Yes, he weighed me. I weigh about the same as I usually do. Maybe about 3 pounds more, but that's because it was summer and I didn't do much. I lost an inch of height. I'm only 5'8" tall now. To me, that's a big step in the right direction without even trying. But at the same time, he wants me to go for a bone density test because he is concerned possibly about osteoporosis. So I will be going to a bone density specialist on the 24th of October to go for the bone density test. And my blood pressure is good, my body temperature is good, my heart's good, um, my BMI is about the same. It hasn't changed. And so overall, I'm still healthy. Oh yeah, Michelle's boobs grew. Yes, they did. um, BB said, but we don't want that. What we need is our own people living in our own countryside, and plus countryside is lower living standards but higher living quality, health, and average age is 93 average versus 67. Okay, but BPs, please understand one thing. Okay, what makes a country is people wanting to be there. Okay, and right now, if and you said the age group there is like ridiculously old people. They're getting ready to retire soon on the average. It would be good to get new blood into the country. And if that means that, maybe the neighboring countries such as Macedonia or Albania or even Czechoslovakia, other areas, those areas want to come in, and they want to be part of this, they should be able to join in part of it. Same thing for Americans. If an American, because there's a lot of Americans that want to live in the countryside and be free of tyranny, maybe those people may be the kind of people it would make your country grow. And then as they stay in your country long enough, and they remember something what Donald Trump says, we want people to come into our country that love our country. Okay? In other words, we want people to enter Bulgaria that love Bulgaria. Regardless of where they're from, if they love the country and they love the people and they want to be proud of their new homeland, they should come. It may be what it's going to take. Bulgaria is a small country. It's not huge. And it would be best to be willing to accept people who want to enter your country legally and do it the right way. And those people are proud to be there, and they should be welcomed in with open arms. It's not the ones that just want to basically sit in your land and just act like, a bunch of turds. Those are the ones that you don't want. We got plenty of them already. No, I mean the average death age. Okay. Well, a lot of British people are coming. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people in the UK have reasons to get the hell out of the UK right now. London is an expensive cesspit. It really is. Nobody can afford to live in London except people who are well-to-do. The UK in general has become extremely expensive. Everybody's looking for a place to go. Everybody is. Same thing is happening here in the United States as happened to England. People are leaving Connecticut. They are leaving the state because it's too expensive. And they're going to other states that are more positive for their goals in life, such as the South, particularly like the Midwest and the southern United States. That's like a lot of people from California are going to Texas and Arizona. True Bulgaria is multiracial anyway, so we don't forget Bulgar 50%, Gypsy is 30%, Turkish, Russian, and Armenian. And you shouldn't have much of a problem. Really, you should be willing to accept all the people that want to come into this country that you're from, that love the country and love the country and follow its laws and come in legally. Those people should be welcomed with open arms. It's what it's going to take to get your country back on its track. It's not going to be because you're going to say exclusivity and say, oh, I'm sorry, you're Bulgarian? No, guess what? You're not going to be getting a visa. Access denied. That's not going to help. See, the same thing in the United States. If you truly love this country and you're willing to go through the proper channels and become an American citizen, and because you love this country and you believe in our great people and our Constitution, I welcome you. But if you're just coming here just to squat and literally shit in my street, I am going to be more than vexed with you. But if you come into this country because you want to be a proud part of American society and be a American in the sense that you follow the rules and the Constitution, I welcome you. And that's the truth. I really love this music, and I think dance is a good way to keep people from doing drugs and things. It's also good exercise. Most people don't realize this. Dance moves, even light, low impact dance, can be good for the body. It also increases the amount of endorphins in the body, which makes you feel good. Um, mainly is many old Bulgarian communities in Ukraine and Moldova, and many of them came back home for a better education. Well, yeah, but there's a lot of countries in the Eastern European area that are looking forward to getting a chance to reinvent themselves after the Iron Curtain fell, and it's going to be very hard. But right now, given what's going on with the world, you're going to see population shifts because of the grand solar minimum. People are going to want to go where they can easily grow food and provide for the families. New England is going to be an extremely harsh place during the grand solar minimum. This part of the country, especially New England, is harsh anyway. But the whole entire northern United States is going to be brutal. If you really want to be able to keep warm and stay safe, you need to go, if you can, to where it would be a more temperate zone, and that would be the South. And there is places in the South that you can live and have a happy, safe, healthy life. Well, actually, Peace is still here. At least he left his last message, R11H30. I don't actually know who else is here, but I know you're here because you just posted a comment. Do you have any comments, R11H30, you wanted to talk about? Because obviously, like you said, it's pretty quiet. So, I'm willing to talk about anything within reason if you want to discuss things. I think Russia could have helped us, but our government ruined the chances each time Putin was willing to help out because the pipelines and help us build a new power plant. Okay. I don't know where it says, I guess this is just a chat between Michelle and Pop. She is not reading mine, LOL. Yes, I am. I just got your message. So, I just got your message. Okay. I remember, I only got the screen so you can count the number of spots. So you can only see it's over 6 screens. He says, BB says, no, it's not. He said, not, it's not. Which I think he meant, no, it's not. R11, I'm in and out of work. I just had the following Kavanaugh hearing. Dems really are childish in everything that happens. Yeah, and there's not going to be no blue wave this year. Americans, for the most part, are not going to go for that. I think that they basically ruined their chance by pissing in America's cornflakes this morning. Nobody wants to vote for the Democrats. Like, even the Democrats I've talked to have said that they are disgusted at the party's actions, especially that of Schumer and Feinstein, particularly those two. But other Democrats, and Cory Booker has not exactly been very well received either. Oops, you missed a bunch of mine. Okay, we'll have to go back and look. I'm sorry I missed it. Be at peace. I just don't like the cell phones and shopping malls so much. And I hope my homeland returns to old-fashioned. Yeah, well, if it goes back to old-fashioned, here's what's going to happen. It's going to fall behind, like you said, even more so. I hate to say it, but they got to get with the times. You know, it's just like you can't have everything. You got to have to come up with a compromise in life. BP says, I think we should... Or 11 says, let me just read this real quick here. How about Brainstorm a flood. You'll eat food during the next few nights. So, any ideas? Not really. Um, no, not really. I don't really know what I would eat. It doesn't have to be food anyway, does it? I could do other things too. After all, Michelle is more than a garbage disposal. I do. Ted Logan says, I've been purposely not paying attention to the political circus lately. Lucky you. Unfortunately, it's all I've been stuck covering. When I say old fashioned, I don't mean communism, I mean communism. How about bananas? I don't want any bananas right now. I have to. Right now, I got so many things on my plate right now. Or11 has nothing to do with the show. First of all, did you hear the good news about my height? I lost an inch in my height. I'm a little shorter now. That's cool. Then BB says, hi Ted. BB says, well, nothing's stopping me from doing my part in helping the countryside there. Ted Logan says, out on the wire, and Rich, he waves to both of you. I wave to you, Ted. Okay. So anyway, R11 said, I will send money for the food, Michelle. You just... It's also a matter of getting to the grocery store, and that's where the problem starts. I can buy bananas individually at Cumbies, but it's going to cost more money. Well, what about the health food store down the street? You could go there. They take food stamps. Yeah, I know. And work here during the winter. Cuba is really cute country. Cuba is a cute country. It's also a very warm country. But very resourceful people. The Cuban people are very, very creative. In their own ways, they have to become very creative. They use what they have available to them. Out on the wire says, hi, Ted. Yeah. So, B&B, would you mind if I try to focus on some of the other comments right now for a little bit? I will read through yours as I can, but I think other people probably want to talk about other things too. Yes, guys, the phone is on. I tested it. The phone is working. So, that's a good thing. The phone's up. Yeah. And Discord's on. Yes, Discord's on too. So you can talk to Discord as well. People Crust, you do have an account on Discord. You could also talk on Discord as well. So, why does he call himself People Crust? Because he kind of got confused between all the P at Peace accounts and all the People Christ accounts. He has so many accounts. I can't even keep up with them all. A tribe called Cookie666 says, Michelle, exclamation point triple. How you doing? Cuba is not a globalist at all. And we hate them. They are conservative. Hillary and Soros secretly planned a war takeover of Cuba's banking systems. Yes, I do know about that. Obama was not on it too. Yes, I know that too. I don't know why it says Michelle does need a break. Her chats have gotten bland. Have a good break, Michelle. Have a good one, Rich Cringe. And, well, I've still got me on for tomorrow. So it's not going to start until after tomorrow's show. We're going to be taking a couple days off. I'll be helping Lumi on her channel. But I will still be occasionally, I'll be doing the vlogs in the morning. And that's it. So then during the Sunday, our 11830 is going to cover me. Monday will probably not be any show. And, of course, Tuesday we don't have a show anyway. Wednesday we have a show. I will be back on here for Wednesday. Yeah, the break is needed. Especially, everybody needs to kind of clear our heads. So we had so much content in the last few weeks. Oh, by the way, there is no break, Michelle. They are full of beautiful churches and moderate Catholic, okay? They're looking to legalize homosexual marriage. I don't mind. Well, I don't have a problem with homosexual marriage either. We just make sure you know, that they keep in mind that not everybody's going to want to go that way, but that's a personal choice anyway. Um, there is no break, Michelle. I love when he says that. What do you mean there's no break? Of course there's a break. I gotta take a break. I have to. I need a break. I've been doing these shows almost every day for the past 8 years. Holy Christ! I need a break. um, Speaking of systems, what about Brexit? I'm gonna just touch on this real quick because the situation with Brexit right now is a giant mess. Like Ginger Marie talked about, what about the Irish issues? I'm like, how are you supposed to solve everything at once? You know, if Northern Ireland decides that it wants to go its own way, independent of the EU, and are they really going to keep fighting over what they started fighting about back in the Irish Civil War started? I hope not. Yeah, I can understand that with Cuba. I think they've been working with Venezuela. I think Cuba is not okay. Cuba is not globalist at all. NW hate them. They're conservative Hillary. Yeah, I think you already said that. You already said that. You already said that part. Speaking of Donald Trump has said that he'd be willing to sit down with Maduro in Venezuela and try to see if we can find a way to help resolve some of the issues that Venezuela is having right now. But I just don't know how much we as a country can help Venezuela. It's a really big problem because we went from a country, Venezuela used to be one of the well to do countries of the northern hemisphere with the oil, and all of a sudden they turned into a giant dump. I really. Well, let's get you out of the EU first. That's gonna be the first thing. And if the Britain can get out of the EU and prosper, maybe that would be a good start for both Bulgaria. France is another candidate. Italy is another candidate. I don't know about Greece. Don't forget Greece. Greece is too screwed right now. What about Macedonia? I don't even know Macedonia is part of the EU. No matter what people say about communism, I know for a fact during the communism in my country, the countryside was doing great. The food was organic. Well, that's because you guys, when you guys signed into the EU, you guys basically ended up giving up your sovereignty for something that was not at all in the best interest for the people. It's the same thing in the United States. That's why we have the 13th Amendment of the United States Constitution, is to make sure that the individual states will have the sovereign rights to regulate themselves. But you know what? The sad truth is that the federal government still likes to try to trample over states' rights, and it's a very big hot button issue, especially with the legalization of marijuana in the United States. Is just that this country can and should honor the 13th Amendment of states' rights. Because remember, the federal government was not created to become this big semi quasi monster it's become. And we need to make sure that the individual states can regulate their own things. Yeah. Well, yeah, 5G radiation. Oh, that's another one. There are some cities in the United States that have said we're not going to support 5G. If the 5 gigahertz and 25 gigahertz range, they're seriously wondering if it's really worth it. For example, I don't know if Winston would ever push 5G. This city is too small to make it justifiable means to go 5G. But the bigger cities like Hartford, Bridgeport, Manchester, New Haven, they maybe want to. Correct. Agreed. About basic meaning of life. Absolutely. I don't know what the Bulgarian constitution says, but I'll tell you what. One of the things that makes the U.S. Declaration of Independence so important is that we believe that all people are endowed by our Creator the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If you listen to what has happened to our Constitution, and since the War Powers Act and several other executive orders that still exist are still enforced and still on the books, meaning we are in civil martial law, because every year Barack Obama re-enabled the civil martial law. That's why we have the deep state in the first place. Donald Trump is going to quash that. Now, quash is like the word squash, except it's a legal term. It is going to have to come down to that this country is going to have to re-examine what the Constitution said and reinvest in its own sovereignty and what was originally intended by the founding fathers of the United States. Well, that's where it says, we, the people of the United States, we have the right. As a group, we can have a referendum, a United States referendum. It can actually disavow and destroy the Constitution or amend it as needed. But the problem is, it would require a constitution. It would require a constitutional Congress, and that is going to be very difficult to get all 50 states to want to go for this, because some of the states, especially the Democratic states, are going to want to stick with the big government, whereas the red states, which are much more conservative, are willing to throw the United States government under the bus. It's just the way it is. It's a complicated mess. But it's going to be cleaned up, I promise you. And we have to be very vigilant and very diligent and very much awake. And we must, as a people, need to say to these people that are trying to push evil, no, you are not going to do this, because as Americans, as whatever country you are from, we insist that the people of this country will be allowed to be safe and free and happy, and that our rights, wherever country you're from, shall be infringed. And that is what the nationalists will not push. They will not do that, because they will, but the globalists don't want to. Right now, the globalists in most countries, especially in the EU, are very strong. But we're starting to see that the EU, for example, member states of the EU are starting to say, you know what? This sucks. Wait, this sucks. And the question is, how will we survive on our own after we leave? That's between you and your people. You would have to figure that mess out. As I said, right now, the United Kingdom is trying to deal with that exact question, because they've already activated Article 50. And that's the beginning of the process for Brexit, to get out of the EU. They've already activated Article 50, and they have a couple of years to get it straight. And they're working on it. Westminster, of course, has kind of got up in the arms and going, no, we don't want to give up our EU membership because it's good for us. And of course, the people in the UK said, no, it's not. I think you would like a Christmas vacation. It's not too warm there during Christmas. What's more dangerous, EU or NATO, and which one should Bullard leave food? Bullard? Oh, who's Bullard? I think right now, the EU is much more dangerous, because NATO is a trade organization, which is a North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is a defense group. And so the EU is, or people, countries of Europe, have grown so used to having us defending them. In fact, this is sad truth when you talk about NATO. Isn't it amazing? It's the United States that's supplying almost all the military equipment and supplies, and all the other countries. A lot of them don't even pay their share as originally agreed. But that's because right now Europe is kind of torn between being members of EU or being members of NATO, and some, as I said, don't want to be part of the EU anymore. Michelle, talk about El Stevo, something interesting. Okay, what about El Stevo? How is he doing health wise? Because I know that he was in the hospital because of heart issues, and I don't really know much how he stands now with his health. Is he out of the hospital yet? Is he? I think I heard that he said he was in a rest home right now, but that's all I know. Maybe could you hold on while we try to tackle a few other questions, because I think some of the other people want to talk about other topics right now. Okay, I mean, I don't want to dismiss you from talking, but I want to focus on some of the other questions too. Don't you think he can get a little perverted? Yeah, I think that he has. I don't know. He's just El Stevo. I do think that what he was doing, chewing with his mouth open, was beyond, disgusting. And you listen to some people on my channel, for example, like Living Golden, saying he thinks I can be a Neanderthal. I think that that's one of the reasons why I really kind of don't feel comfortable doing excessive eating challenges, because it's just, I don't know. Do you really want to see people chew with their mouth open and smacking the lips and other things? I just don't see any way of benefit. You talking about be at peace. As I said, I'm not trying to ignore you, but can we talk about other things for a little bit, please? Just a little bit, I will read your comments. I don't know which Natasha you're talking about. If you're talking about Natasha 78D or some other Natasha, but we'll get to you in a little bit. He is a priest. Should a priest act like that, do you think? Your thoughts? Eating challenges are great for CR. Yeah, they're great for CR. No, I don't think he should act like that. And he's a reverend. He's not a priest. Technically, there is a slight difference. No, you really should try to set a good example. Especially if you are a man who's saying that you are of God and you are serving the Almighty. I think Father Yahweh and His Son Jesus would probably say is, look. I think if he saw one of the apostles eating, like doing what he was doing, I think Peter would have said to him, "Have you no decency?" Like, say for example, let's say it was Paul. Hey Paul, why are you chewing with your mouth open and making smacking noises and go googly eyed at Mary over there? Don't you know that that's not appropriate behavior? I just don't see how that would be a good example for to leave a good example for people. And that's one of the things that this country has got to do, is we got to get some morals back in here in this country, and decency is key. I mean, and courtesy and politeness. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit old-fashioned, but honestly, I think this country has got to seriously get back to read some of the things that were expected of manners in this country. Why do you think he's homeless? What's your speculation? I don't even know the whole story, really. I don't really know a story enough to say why he's homeless, but I can tell you why homeless Mike is homeless. And as much as I can publicly. Maybe it's the same reason. He's probably homeless because he doesn't fit in to society in a variety of ways. Homeless Mike is mostly a mendicant beggar who really truly loves the teachings of God, but he's got an issue with using marijuana, and sometimes he just doesn't do logical things, and he's afraid of getting stuck in the system on the welfare treadmill, which I can certainly understand. Maybe Steve-O is the same way. Maybe Steve-O doesn't want to be on the welfare treadmill. Maybe he realizes once I'm on the welfare treadmill, it's basically like giving up my sovereign rights to be free, if that makes any sense. R11 says, no worry, Michelle. I am also old fashioned in some respects. I think old fashioned is not bad in today's day and age. Will homeless Mike be coming on soon? I did not talk to him today. I don't know. I think deep down, I think he's a little bit self conscious about being on camera. I don't think he feels comfortable on TV. A lot of people in Winston are very private. They're not going to sit there and want to be on the media. They just kind of want to just be doing their own thing, and being on TV means that they basically are airing out their dirty laundry. In the case of Mike, that's quite literal. Okay, I think that it takes a special person to have the patience to do what I do. I don't think it's going to be easy for me to find that person for the show who is going to want to be on the show, because they, like I said, they like to keep their privacy. There's a screensaver. I got it. Okay. I forgot. I will. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Will you do a sword demo if we get you sword? Well, you're going to need another person. A sword demo, even if it's using two pieces of wood, it's still going to mean that someone is going to have to be sword fighting with you. It's not just one person doing a demo. Sure, because it takes another person to show you how the moves are. And there's a safety issue, which you need to keep that in mind. BP says, hi, Rich. So, right now, let's talk about real quick what the budget plans are for the. I talked to the renters rebate people. They said that more than likely the money may be authorized at the beginning of November. So, hopefully, maybe at the beginning of November, when the money comes in, we'll get the new computer and get started with some new replacements. I would demo it. But again, like I said, it would have to be, we're not going to talk about the actual steel because I don't want to see him get hurt. Obviously, it would have to be like a practice sword. No one's going to want to really potentially get hurt with a real sword, especially not for demo because of YouTube's policies. I think it would have to be a practice sword. How do you think I can help the Bulgarian countryside? I am thinking of buying a house in a village here to spend the summers. They're not expensive. 20 to 50K. Nice made of bricks, but it feels free still there. I think owning a home is important. I think that sounds great. I'd like to own a home too, guys, but I obviously don't know if that's going to ever happen at this point. It's related to poverty and buying countryside. Well, I suppose that if the Bulgarian government real quickly seriously wants to get people into this country, I'm sure that they will work with people to give them the kind of financing they need to become productive members of the Bulgarian society. The government tries to convince us not to own land anymore, at least in America. They start in college convincing you young only want to live in dorms and apartments. Well, one of the things that they're doing is because of taxes and regulations, they have actually made home ownership almost impossible. I don't think it's so much the government itself doing it. I think part of it is the companies, the banks, the banking system is actually part of the problem, because What is the first thing that happens to so many in college? They get the first credit card. And a lot of these people are very young, you know, 18, 19-year olds, especially if they're freshmen. And what do you think they do? They go nuts. They spend money and then they max out the card. Then they go ahead and they get another card because the credit is still good because they got student loan debt. Then they get another credit card and so on and so forth. It started a treadmill trip. I am proud to say that as of this month of November, my Capital One credit card will be paid off in full. It's only $25.13 this month I gotta pay, and after I pay the $25.13, my credit balance will be zero, which is gonna be great for other things. And they are also, you know, the banks also are using real estate as a way to make money, and I think it's a great investment opportunity. So, real estate is the price is at because of a variety of reasons. Number one, land is a very precious commodity, and so there's a market and speculation, and that is part of the problem. Is the banks. It's not so much the government, but the government certainly has their hand in there in the form of taxes, like property taxes, and state and local taxes, but also known as SALT. This is the kind of thing that really can drive a real wedge in a person's dream. Is if you don't, unless you have will to do, it's the will to do that are going to own homes. It's not going to be the poor. The poor are going to be the ones that can't afford to own homes. Now, let's say, for example, my mother passes on. My brother already has got first dibs to the house. Why? Because he lives there. My mother more than likely will give my brother the house. Now, to my knowledge, my brother, for example, does not have a spouse. He lives by himself. No, I do not find him physically attractive. He kind of looks like a male version of Dory. I don't mean to be mean when I say that, but there's just something about the way he carries himself, the way he looks. It just does not appeal to me. I've been wanting to get a house, be a piece, since I got out of high school. And then I made this stupid mistake. I got credit cards in college. And I blew them. And I defaulted on many. And I ruined my credit score because I defaulted on my student loan debts. And I absolutely positively. Well, Winston would be perfect for you then. It's small. So let me give a suggestion to be at peace and other younger people that are watching this. Stay the heck away from credit cards. Really. Focus on your goals. If you're thinking about starting a family, say in about 10 years after college, focus on that. Don't worry about having the best and the greatest and the newest. Get yourself ahead together. Okay. Okay, well, let me look at that on my phone so I don't screw up the main screen chat here. Let's see. Because I don't really, let's see. Let's see. Well, yeah, kind of. He kind of does. Um, got a lot of extra bumps on him. Kind of, as I said, it looks a little bit like Dory. I know Dory's been trying to fix herself up too. Um, we have chicken. In some parts of the United States, or be at peace, you will find livestock running around the streets. It's not just in Bulgaria. Oh, I figured that. Um, but still, as I said, I don't really find him that attractive. I don't. I mean, he's okay. He's a nice person, but I just don't think he doesn't really interest me. As I said, he reminds me of Dory, a male version of Dory. Yes, I understand that, babies. I do understand that. That's what happens with resort communities. That's what happens everywhere. And it's not just Bulgaria, it happens in the United States too. Ask anybody near Miami Beach. Ask anybody near Atlantic City, New Jersey. Or, or other areas, or North Shore, New Jersey. It's the same thing. No, I'm not really into horror movies. I really don't. I like happy movies. I love love stories. I love Christmas stories. Um, I love science fiction where there's a theme of hope in the future. I like movies that give me happiness. It's just the reason I say that is because the few horror movies I ever watched is like I never really I get creeped out. Um, for example, I know it's fiction. Like for example, a couple days ago, some people were talking about the TV series that was on in the 1980s called V. That's the letter V, like V the Final Battle and stuff, which is actually a horror series of reptilian aliens. I was like, that creeped me out when a woman there goes ahead, peels off her fake skin and swallows a rat. um, um, no, I don't. I like movies, you know, that maybe teach a story, that maybe teach us, that have a theme that shows where the person can actually make a positive difference in the life of others. I like movies that show love and compassion. I like movies like that make me want to go out there and hug somebody at the end of the movie instead of wanting to feel like I'm gonna go ahead and scream at the top of my lungs. I got plenty of watching that in real life when I watched the original um, Gulf War and all the bomb raids in Israel and CNN, and I got plenty of real world horror to basically fill many film cans. I just I just rather have a movie that makes me feel like I want to come in the movie. That's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to the new, even though it's a kids movie, it sounds good. Wreck It Ralph. Um, what is it called? Wreck It Ralph Wrecks the Internet, something like that. It's them coming out in November. It's kind of cool. It looks. I saw the trailer for it. Wreck It Ralph. It's the new Wreck It Ralph on the internet. I thought that was kind of hilarious, and I want to go see that. And so I've watched Monsters vs. Aliens. That was kind of fun. It was another kids movie. Um, I just like movies that make me feel good or make me feel hope for humanity. I don't think humanity is. Um, oh yeah, it's an old movie. I saw Santa Claus meets the Martians. That was kind of fun. Uh, it's kind of cheesy, B-rated, but it was still good. Oh yes, even the original Battlestar Galactica series was pretty good. Um, I really didn't like the Cylons very much, but you know, then I watched the newer series of Battlestar Galactica, and it was like, mm, it's harder to say that the blonde-haired Cylon was really necessarily so evil because they tried to mix it, put the plot in such a way you couldn't really say if the Cylons were all bad. In other words, they went from the clunky mechanical Cylons to these simulated androids kind of Cylons. This is kind of fun. I used to love the character Bestar from the old series. Especially when he was the only humanoid Cylon left, right? And like his silent leader says, "Be careful with this, or you will damage a blood vessel." Indiana Jones. Yeah, I watched the first one. I didn't see the other ones after that one, but I did watch the first one. I was younger then, so some of the kind of action adventure movies are good. But I haven't really seen any movies lately in the movie theater, or I really seriously feel like plunking down $10 for a ticket, even for a matinee. I did go see Frozen. That was awesome. In the movie theater. And then I saw with a friend of mine. We watched The Painted Veil, which was kind of fun. If you like to see a husband and wife team dealing with, I think it was India, back in the when India was ruled by the UK, British Empire, about um, the relationships and stuff like that was fun. Steve will be joining when? Where? Here now or another show? Steve will be joining. What do you mean by he's here in the show, or you mean for Wednesday or Sunday night? It's too bad. It's too bad that we can't get you actually to be able to field the phone calls. If you, he could technically field the phone calls if you give him a click link, username password, so he could go ahead and. Oh, okay, sure, no problem. Uh, I wonder if that guy, Mr. Rosier is watching. I don't know. What are your thoughts of the UK that the let's just say that the colonial period was a time when a lot of people were basically stepping all over everybody else. And the UK was just one of the many that were doing it. Colonial expansion was not necessarily a good time for everybody. Um, that's all I can say. Hey, 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 says number 23. How you doing, dude? As you look on the screen, you'll see a phone number. You could call the show if you have access to a phone or if you feel like it. You can also join us on Discord. Did you just send the link to Discord? I did originally, yeah, but send it again. Okay, here's to link to join us on Discord. Okay, to join us on Snow Queen Radio. Okay, so you can join us through that way too. Through that way, so you don't have to. I'm glad to know you're doing okay. So where is Lord Dragon Frodo TV? Another gentleman that I have actually watched is Dragon Lord Frodo TV, or is it Lord Frodo Dragon TV? I get it wrong constantly. I keep subscribing, and then he's like a moth in a flame, and next thing you know, I keep unsubscribing, and then I keep subscribing. Again. I sometimes, okay, I found out the story of why he's Dragon Lord Frodo TV's not doing live streams right now. Maybe it's better for him this way. Apparently, I guess he said I'd done some things on YouTube, and the YouTube community guidelines were infringed upon. So he's been like cringe report in a sense. He's basically been told that he's been banned for 90 days from doing live streams. And when I heard the story why, I said, oh, God. Anyway, so anyway, I said to him, I said, why don't you consider, given the kind of content you like to do, why don't you consider doing content on Pornhub? Because I think at least there, Pornhub isn't going to get so angry if you accidentally expose your genitalia unintentionally. And I think that would be better for him anyway. but what is good about what's going on right now with his videos is that they're short enough that I can sit through them. And I mean, sure, I might have to drink a gallon of Malox in the process, but at least I can watch them. And if I really get grossed out, I can fast forward to the gross parts and then go back and watch the other parts I think are important. Um, and also he's been keeping them shorter, which is nice instead of having these big long videos. Um, but I mean, I feel bad for the guy, but he kind of reminds me to some extent. He reminds me of me from when I first started out. Of course, I never uh, sat there on the couch in my bare underwear. That would be my ex-boyfriend who did that. Robert Myers would do the same thing for the same reason, and that was that people ask this question is because when you get to be a certain size, pants are like wearing a straight jacket, especially for men. And they, you know, they like the man spread. My ex boyfriend used to man spread, but he would be like, "Oh, I'll still wear the pants." Unintentionally rips his crotch in half. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yes, my ex boyfriend was morbidly obese. The thing is that that's why they like to be able to wear um, loosey whiteys, not tidy whiteys. They don't like tidy whiteys. They like loosey whiteys. They like the underwear to be extra baggy so they can stretch out. Oh, larger women, me included, that's one of the reasons I wear a skirt, because of the same reasons. I don't feel constricted. I can move it easier and faster wearing a skirt and dress than I can if I was wearing a pair of jeans. Like I said, same reason. It's like I wear a pair of jeans, I feel like I'm being poured into a wine glass. But at least it's easier for me to find clothes that fit me and stuff too. That's another reason why. Genitalia. Oh, genitalia sounds like a city of Sweden. Yeah. Let me give you a foot. Oh, please. Cut it out. Um, Speaking of footies, where's Ginger Marie today? Usually Ginger Marie is usually on. Probably doing other things. Probably, you know, probably doing other things. Maybe you're actually watching. Let me check. Three. Three? Yeah, that's what it says here, but it could be more. Could be more. Let me check. That's a good question. How many people are actually watching the show right now? I have no idea. I don't know. How many people are watching the show right now? No idea. Hello? I don't know. How many people are watching the show right now? No idea. Hello? It's Lumi. A looping effect. Ah! Okay. All jokes aside, I'm out of here Tuesday. I'm glad they know that. Did you manage to um did they manage to find a way to keep you in your tip top shape? Um because I know that your health is obviously is is harder to maintain out in the wild than it is when you have an apartment. Like I went down to my doctor's yesterday. I'm doing good overall health wise. My heart's good, blood pressure's good, blood sugar's fine. I'm definitely no diabetes, thank God. And I lost an inch of height. I'm only 5'8" now. Yay! All right, so the point is so I'm a little shorter now. It's because of age mostly. This is cool. Someday I shall be five. Someday maybe I'll be 5'5". Someday, keep wishing. However, the thing is, my doctor is concerned about osteoporosis because he realizes that that's why he wants me to go see a specialist to get a bone density test. Because he thinks I could be heading towards osteoporosis. So that's a serious issue. That's because my health system is so alien. No matter what you do, my health is just totally questionable. For example, what I weigh, okay, it's no secret. I weigh about 290 pounds. Okay, I weigh heavy. I'm stocky. But the problem is now which weight scale are you supposed to go by? Are you supposed to go by the man scale or the woman scale? Right. Well, how much do you weigh? I told you my numbers. Let me hear yours. Oh yeah, my BMI is 44. um. Oh, anyway, so like my doctor said, he said to me in the past, I don't know which weight scale would be optimum for you because the fact is you are mixed biology. I don't know. I can't put you in a man scale because you have female organs and female traits too. You have breasts that have grown. My boobs have gotten bigger. Yeah. I could see my milk jugs during the during the exam, and then for EKG, they were hanging there like big giant milk jugs. And then of course, since I had some time, because between getting on disrobed and stuff, I give myself a self-breast exam, and I'm doing fine, no lumps, no bumps. I figured I was already naked anyway, right? Just check my breasts, make sure that they're good and healthy. They're fine. And I had a mammogram about 2 years ago, so. Yeah, I'm healthy. But, like I said, he's concerned that I could get osteoporosis. I think I would probably be the first, if I do have osteoporosis, I'd probably be the first family member of my family to actually have been diagnosed with it. I wouldn't say it's not likely the other women have it, family too, but my extended family, but really clearly my health is important to me. I met a nice guy today at the soup kitchen. His name is Glenn. He says to me, he says, "You look really good." And I said, "Thanks." And so I asked him how old he says. Oh, he said, I'm 67 years old. He says, unfortunately, I kind of let myself go to pot. I said, you don't look too bad to me. He said, yeah, but I really haven't been keeping up with my health. I said, well, I have one goal in my life. He said, what's that? I want to be a centenarian. I want to live to be 100 plus. That's what I'm going to do. Because I want to, I know it sounds kind of silly that I want to be able to be 100 plus years old, but remember, I'm going to be the North American Snow Queen for life and beyond life. And I've seen so much in my current lifetime now that I want to be able to tell my nieces and nephews, and maybe my grandnieces and my grandnephews about the stories of what I've seen. Back in 1980. For some people that'd be like, "Oh, wait a minute, Michelle, you were around in the 1980s at the time of Ronald Reagan? Wow, I didn't know that. What's he like?" He was a good guy. Then, of course, the beginning of the computer era. Holy crap, you're talking about 2068. 2068, oh my god, if I live to be 2068, that'd be 100 years old. This computer, 2038, the Unix operating system will have the 32-bit time T will no longer be valid. Right, that's why everybody's going with 64-bit now, but that's a different story. Yep. So anyway, Steve-O, what's your plans for within the next year? What do you plan to do for the next year in your short-term goals? I know long-term goals are kind of hard to pin down, but what's your short-term goals for, say, the next year or so? What do you plan to do? Our 11H30, I can ask you the same question. Be at peace? I've asked you that, and I've gotten plenty of the answers, so I want to ask the other two guys the same question. Ted Lee, Logan, same question for you. What's your goals for the next year? What do you plan to do for this year ahead? Chronologically, 365 days, not based on calendar year, because obviously we're kind of in the ninth month. So I want to make it a little easier. Why don't we say, what's your plans for the next 3 months? Hey, that's a good idea. What's your plans for the next 3 months? I think that might be a little easier to chew on. What's your plants? My plants? Yeah. Well, um, I want to. My goal is to um, continue to work on my show. Oh, that sounds like a reasonable goal. That sounds like a reasonable goal. Kind of similar goals here, which is, of course, I already got housing. Um, I'm thinking about going back out dating again. I don't know with who. And there's one guy on Facebook that seems to like me. Um, I don't really know him very well, but one of the men that I have always considered saying is his name. Mother God said to me that I would be interested in that has the first name of John, and this guy's name is John. That's all I know. And he lives close enough to Winstead that he said to me that maybe he might be willing to meet me at McDonald's in Winstead. We could talk in person. So I would like to see what that goes with that. And I also want to work on my health too. I want to continue to begin and process. Okay. Well, let me ask you a question, Network 23 Steve. Let me ask you this. Okay, now, I'm not trying to start a war or anything. Okay, I just want to know this from your perspective. Does gaydar exist? GAYDAR. Does gaydar exist? Is it real? Is there really a way you can tell if a person's straight or gay just by looking at them? Careful. You don't want to end up in the same boat the poor Brett Kavanaugh got accused of being in. So, keep that in mind. Okay? You don't want to potentially find yourself in a compromising situation. You gotta get yourself a violin. Oh, yeah. I could just see Michelle playing a violin. You like to hear some sad music? I think you could play some pretty wild ditty songs. I probably could. That's what I'm gonna do. It's only $100. I can get a good, nice, inexpensive studio. I mean, student violin, like a Cecilia or Dalene, which I'm still thinking about. It's one of the reasons I don't want to blow my wad on a computer because I want to get other things too. What about the AC transformer to convert things to 220? That's still on my list, but that's like a lower priority right now, but it will be in the future. You know. It's an inner feeling we all have, and we can tell. But how? Okay, I got it too, but I mean, I had a hard time trying to explain it. Um, but for me, because of my eyesight, I think in part, it's not so much by sight. It's more like from talking to the people. It's like you can kind of tell if they act a certain way. You can kind of pick it up. I don't really know how to explain it from a sighted perspective because I don't have the greatest sight in the world. But as I said, I am a little bit bi, so I can, if you know, I do look at both men and women. But the thing is, in either case, it's when I sit down and talk to them in person that I can determine if that person would be the white one or not. Well, Michelle's missing at least two senses of subprime operation. Right. My hearing and my eyesight suck. But when I actually do manage to sit down and I talk to that person, and if it's in the right environment, I can kind of tell if the way they say things, if they're, trying to ignore me. I'm not the best because of my Asperger's, but I mean, it's like if there's just some people that are just trying to be polite, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But there's some people, um, especially if they're trying too hard, it's those people that kind of make me kind of put raise my red flags. Let me give you an example. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's take my ex-boyfriend for example, and another man I know at the same time, and I was friends with both guys. Okay. This one guy's name was Walter. He was a very nice guy, but the problem was he was an alcoholic. But he treated me decently in Willimantic. He really was a good guy. And he was a real nice person. And I got along great with him. And the way we were talking, we knew each other for about a year, 2 years. And I never dated him officially. I hung out with him, but I never dated him. But I thought maybe Walter could have been a better candidate than my ex-boyfriend Bob Myers was for a couple of reasons. Number one is he was more down to earth. He was more organized, and where my ex-boyfriend was just kind of like, like to stay to himself, walk around in his skivvies at home, you know, constantly stuffing his face. And sometimes he would discuss things that didn't really make sense to me, and I was like, I was thinking about marrying this guy. Oh my god! I'm glad I didn't. All right, so anyway, but Walter was quite a different story. He was a nice guy. He was well mannered. He treated people good. He was respectful, but he liked to drink alcohol, which was a turnoff. But then so did my ex-boyfriend. So unfortunately, I kind of. But if I had to pick between the two based on the pros and the cons, I think Walter would have won because he just seemed to have that extra little benefit, extra little spark that made me feel good. Okay. Bob Myers reminded me a lot of Dory. I mean, no disrespect, but there's a lot in common between those two. Except I do not see Dory walking around in her underwear and constantly stuffing her face. Oh, you've seen her do it though. I've seen her do it plenty of times with eating, yes, but and she did try to keep herself up, but unfortunately, she was more into the gossip and the rumor stuff, and I'm sorry to say, it just would never work with Dory either. I haven't really found the right one yet. I really haven't. But I have learned long ago in this day and age is since I am in no rush. Yes, I'm 50 years old. In one sense, the age does have its advantage. In the sense, I don't have to feel like I'm have to rush out and get someone just to live the American dream of having a house with two cats in the living room and maybe two or three stepchildren. But there are things I wish I could change. There are things I wish I could have gone back to. Actually, apparently I did. Because another Michelle came to me from another parallel dimension during Mass one year. And the look on her face said more than I ever wanted to forget. And that facial expression said, "You're doing the same bloody mistake I did. Stop it." But when I shook her hand during then we give each other the sign of Christ, and she talked to me. She sounded really really sad. Like, oh man. And I wanted to talk to her after the Mass because she really kind of was haunting. I wanted to talk to her. So I turned around at the end of the Mass and she wasn't there anymore. I didn't even know she left the pew, but she just was gone. But when I held her hand, it was a warm hand. It was a living hand. So I just thought that was really funny. And I think she was sending a warning to me as, girl, if you do the same mistake I did, you're going to regret it. And so I keep remembering that. And her eyes said it all. I mean, her eyes spoke volumes. Don't do the same mistake. So, oh yeah, she had brown hair. She had brown hair. She didn't bleach her hair. After 8 years, I got to romantically kiss my nurse. Okay, so so you've been working with a nursing assistant for 8 years. You know, somebody who's been helping the care for 8 years. I know a story about that. Okay, but I'm not going to give names. There was this man's wife I knew well in Manic. Okay, and she was taking care of um, a man who was in a wheelchair. Okay, and she and this guy, she was his home health aide. Let's see, was he? I think he was a double amputee, wasn't he? I think he was too. Anyway, the point is that she was there to help maintain his needs. She wasn't living, but she had a scheduled rounds when she would go service his needs. And anyway, long story short is this guy and her they became really really good friends, and they fell in love with each other, and then she married him after she gave her existing husband a divorce. Need I say her existing husband kind of suspected that she was having a fling with this guy anyway? So he accepted the divorce, but um oh okay. Well anyway, so is she and him still together? I don't know. They could be. They could be together. Um they were really good friends, and well, like I said, when it comes to relationships, I am very, very, very picky. Let me tell you something. Something that we see in the situation, um, with women, especially women, are really more scared of this than men are, whereas we're afraid of being hurt. There are legitimate stories of women being hurt by men, and sometimes by other women. We all know that Christina Blasey Ford was a bunch of bullshit, or was it? The truth is someone did sexually assault her. That is a true story. It was not Mr. Kavanaugh. Okay, so when a woman meets a guy she doesn't know, it's very scary. We don't know if we're going to be having a long term happy relationship or if it is going to be like a psycho movie. Nobody knows what we're getting involved with. I suspect the same is true with men, especially men who may have concerns about being, pinned into something they don't want to be pinned into. But it seems to me it's more of a woman's concern, at least as far as society pushes it. I have seen a few men being afraid, but they usually are a little bit more gung ho about it. But women, if I saw a nice person, okay, I don't care if they're boy or girl, they could even be neuter as far as I know. They could be asexual, it doesn't matter, okay? But either way, the person here, let's say I meet somebody and they say, "Hey, I really like you. You know, you're really cute, and let's let's go out, have a nice movie, and let's maybe then he says to me afterwards, let's go to my hotel room and have a little fun." And it's like, oh, excuse me, I gotta go because I don't want to rush into anything. I just want to take my time. I want to find the right one. And it's gotta be a slow, easy way of going up. Number 23 says, after a few breakups, I find myself getting here to trust anyone. I find myself getting here hard to trust. I think as he meant to say was, I find myself getting hard to trust anyone anymore. Yeah, that's just it. Is it's in this day and age. I think part of it is the society itself that's making this worse. Is that real, true trust? It's not something you can buy in a store. Okay, everybody can sit there and play a game. They're saying, "I'm a good guy. You can trust me," and then find out that really is just playing a game. When you find out that they're not really trustworthy at all, it makes you really kind of angry. And some people are looking for what they call trophy wives and trophy girlfriends, or trophy boyfriends possibly. And you realize that really deep down, does that person really love me? Or does that person just want someone to hang out with and look like they love me? Okay, I mean, I got lots of examples of that, but the thing here is, when it comes to relationships, I am very cautious. Of course, Lumi's there, and Lumi is constantly scanning them too. So she's like, and then at night we go home, we'll talk about it, and compare notes. And usually, it comes out is we can catch the con artists. We know who they are. We can tell by the way they carry themselves. Because Lumi is fantastic for catching cheats. Yeah. That's because my job is to protect Michele from bad people. That's what I was doing as a spirit guide. Yeah. It's hard to change when it's what you've been doing for the past 50 years in a person's life. Oh, man. Actually, a little bit less than 50 years. Okay. But still doing it, though, because it's such a part of my job. It's hard to get. But I mean, what Michele is saying is true. Is we compare notes, and if the person we really think is really genuine, and after I, quietly observe, sometimes Michele introduce me, and that's another dead giveaway. If the person is all of a sudden slams the metaphor, the proverbial door in Michelle's face and say, "Oh, I don't want to deal with this. This is too weird." And then Michelle's like, "Well, okay, is this guy really worth, this, or should I just forget it?" Most of the time, it makes sense just to forget it. Yeah, most of the time. But the sad truth is that in this crazy world, you never can be too. You really never can be too safe. I'm sorry to say that for the younger people, especially. But the pain that has happened to people and the lack of trust. That's my screensaver. Yeah, stupid screen. My keyboard working? Keyboard's offline. Don't do anything. It's working. Okay. Well, sort of working. Probably the mouse. Don't touch it. Just leave it alone. Okay. So, anyway, that's the long story with that. Is that I have to find the right people to trust and the right people that I trust back. So, anyway, that's the long story with that. Is that I have to find the right people to Alright, guys. It is time to get ready to wrap it up for the day. It's already 4 o'clock. And my computer's starting acting kind of stupid out. Oh, wait a minute. It says, like you're in a plane ready to bail out at the sign of fire. Yeah. I'll say that. Is that you need to have an escape route. You don't want to say yes or to somebody that may not be so genuine. Unfortunately, my computer, the keyboard's acting funky again, and I'm not going to touch it because it might potentially crash the computer. And I just want to one here, yeah. Alright, guys, listen, it's 4:03, and I will be here tomorrow at 2 o'clock as well. It's Saturday tomorrow, and then on so tomorrow after the show, I will be going on a short holiday, but I will still be reading the comments. I just won't be doing many videos on the show. I'll be doing a few on Lumi's. She'll be doing some on mine. And then our Lebanese trees are always going to cover me for Sunday. As far as Monday goes, I don't know what Monday is going to be. Well, you're welcome. I don't mind having you here. I'm surprised that most of the people disappeared, but I know there'll be people watching the reruns. You'll notice that this channel and the show is a little different than the Cringe Report in a lot of ways. That we tend to, we tend to sometimes run a little longer. That's where we are right now. But it's 4:04 now, and it's 4:04 now where I am. But we also tend to be more focused on showing a positive aspect of humanity. Without so much humor. I'm not saying we don't do humor. Give me a riff, Loom. I like you. You're cool. Well, thank you. And I hope that the gentleman that is watching on Discord, Facebook, will watch this show too. John Rosier, I think it's Rosier. Well, I think it's definitely is a French ancestry. So I'm sorry that most of the people have left. Yeah, it's 10:04 p.m. Pacific time. Yeah, that's right. Actually, it's actually 12 noon Pacific time. It's 12:04, not 10:04. I think Alaska is 2 hours behind, so it'll be by 10:04 or something in Alaska. Yeah, that's about right. But anyway, for now, everybody, I will be here tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Time with Lumi. It will be at 12 noon in the Pacific Time Zone and at 12 midnight in the UK Time Zone. Yes, I know. Yeah, I know that. So you're in California, I know that. You're in Pacific Time Zone. So, it's hard to believe that you got two different time zones. One where people are serving lunch, and actually, let me show you. You got it wrong, but not too far from right. Right now in California, you're just starting lunch, and in the UK, somebody just finished dinner. Correct. All right, so I'm surprised no one called today, but that's okay. Well, don't think I'll be on here tomorrow. I promise you that. We will be here tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern Time or 10 a.m. Pacific Time. I think they're 3 hours behind us. Okay. Yeah, I think you're 3 hours behind us. So it's actually about 104 or something like that. So anyway, the point is that tomorrow we will be on here 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Please, if you have questions about what time the show is on, when I put up the test patterns and stuff, I always put the clock up 5 minutes before the show, and that way, you got 5 minutes to get onto the show. And if you actually have clicked on the bell icon. I know every time I try to show bell with my fingers, it always looks like the Illuminati symbol. But in this case, the bell. Ding, 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 ding. Very skinny calendar. Right. You click on that little bell icon and you will be notified every time I am live. So you will always know. And you get a push notification and or an email notification. So you always will know. Right. Okay. For now, I'm going to get ready. Let me go ahead and change the screen over till I can full screen the screen. Here we go. Turn off, turn off, turn off, turn on. Yep. Okay. Okay, so for now, I want to thank you all for watching the show. I'm very happy that everybody enjoyed themselves today. I'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And I want to cover more than just political stuff. But, we got to cover what covers up. You guys bring some things up, we'll cover it. I want to try to broaden my program a little bit. We know Country Report is more of a comedy program, and everybody knows that. My channel isn't so much comedy, it's more of kind of a more down-to-earth type of thing. We cover some news, politics, weather, which will be a little warmer tomorrow. Right now where I am, it's only 12 degrees Celsius. It's freezing out there. And the cats are all outside. So I got a feeling all the kitty cats are going to want to come in, so I got to go ahead and get them inside. And I gotta go take a restroom break. And so that's about it for now. That's it, guys. I hope everybody promises me one more thing. What's that? Be excellent to one another. 100%. 100%. Absolutely. Alright, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.